Hello, did you figure it out?
Hello? Uh, yeah, okay, okay, I think, okay, I think we're live. Okay, yeah, sure. Alright, let me just get the questions out. Okay. So, we're doing we're doing the interview in about 45 minutes early. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, sure. Alright, so I'm gonna start the interview right now. Alright, so hi Nico. First of all, thank you so much for giving up your time. I know that you're really busy, and now because since you were on a tour, and now it was suddenly stopped due to the COVID-19. Um, can you briefly introduce to us to our viewers? Can you briefly introduce to us?
Yeah. Um, I'm Nico Velasquez. I'm actually the Dino Tier for Jurassic World Live Tour. My primary role is Blue, the Velociraptor, but I understudy the Pack Raptors in the
Oh, really?
show, as well as performing as an ACU soldier in the first act of the show.
Okay, I see.
Um, Before I just started understudying the main dinosaur, Genie, recently, but haven't gotten full range of motion of that yet. But yeah, my primary role is the fan favorite Blue.
Okay, I see. So Nick, you don't only operate Blue, but you do also operate other dinosaurs too, right? Like
Yes,
the Pack Rappers and Genie.
yes. I
Oh,
also have done remote controls for the Indominus,
oh
Triceratops,
really?
and Baby Steak as well. Yeah.
Oh really? So so you haven't controlled the T Rex or the Triceratops or none of those before?
Um, I haven't done T Rex.
Oh, okay.
Um, she's she's a big one that's kind of intimidating, but
Okay.
I've
I see.
only done like the smaller ones and like the Triceratops and the Stegosaurus,
Okay.
and the Indominus.
Yeah. So Nico, since you said that you're like a stunt man, did you have to get some professional training to operate the bigger dinosaurs or like that?
Um, for me, the only experience I've had was with dino tearing
Yeah.
as Blue.
Okay.
Anywhere like the bigger dinosaurs, it's kind of just like you kind of visualize and remember what the movies kind of gave off with like
Okay.
how they were represented,
Yeah.
and you think about it. So it was kind of like for me, like okay, looking back at like maybe the first Jurassic World in Gyrosphere Valley when the gyrosphere is like rolling through and you
Right.
see like
Right.
the
Yeah.
herds of the dinosaurs.
Mhm.
You kind of try to remember like how they looked, the little like wags that they do with their heads.
Yeah.
So you kind of try to like replicate that when you're doing the remote ops for it.
Yeah.
But it's been when the start of the build of the show, they kind of gave a few people like how to little classes on how to remote op them.
Yeah.
And for me, I kind of jumped in like halfway through the season, so
Okay.
it was kind of just like trial and error, and you kind of like just kind of like mess around with it, but
Mm-hmm.
trying to like the basic controls of like the dinosaurs. So it's
Okay.
kind of like
Okay. I see. So so Nico, I was wondering, before this COVID-19 happened, where was your current destination that you were performing this show?
we were actually in our first week of Uniondale, New York,
Oh, really?
and we were gonna spend 2 weeks there as well.
I see. But then you guys didn't got to perform there due to the COVID-19, right?
Correct.
Okay, I see. But where was your next destination after you were performing in New York?
I think it was 2 weeks in Uniondale, and then I want to say after that it was Boston,
Boston.
Massachusetts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because for me, I did watch the show in Chicago. That was the opening night, and then I was
Yeah.
really excited just to see the show because I've been waiting for the show for about 3 years when Bell Entertainment announced that they were going to make Jurassic World live, and I was like really excited just to see, wow, they're going to make Jurassic World live. How are they going to do it like that? Yeah. So, down to some questions about you involved in the show. Nico, how did you find the audition for the show?
Um, so my audition was a lot different from everyone else's.
Okay.
Um, I knew someone who I worked with at my previous job.
Okay, I see.
And I used to work at the Field Museum when they had Jurassic World, the exhibition there.
Oh, okay, I see.
And that was with a different company. I think the company was Victory Hill Exhibitions.
Yeah.
And I think they are currently overseas. I think they were last in Korea.
Yeah, right, right.
Yeah. And so I performed there. And one of my coworkers, he went to a Marvel Universe Live audition.
Oh, really? I see.
And one of the casting directors said that, oh, we noticed that you're in the exhibition and we might be doing, or we are doing the Jurassic World Live Stunt Show.
Yeah.
And eventually I learned about it, and my friend was like, yeah, they're going to do it. Make sure you keep like your eyes open for that.
I see.
So I was like, yeah, cool.
Okay.
And so yeah, and then my friend got in contact with me. He's like, hey, they're filming teaser trailers for the show.
Yeah.
They want to know if you'd be able to come with me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, yeah. So we arranged something, and then I was flown out to California to film the teasers. And since then, it was kind of just like, okay, well, we'll be in contact and just make sure you go to the auditions. I had contacted Feld prior, and it was kind of just like, hey, like, I missed the audition because I didn't have like my headshots or my entertainment resume, just because my computer had crashed right after I came back from filming the teasers. And I was devastated because that was literally everything I had on there. Not even just my entertainment resume was on there, but like my work resume. As a photography student at college, I had a lot of my projects on there.
Yeah.
I even had like Word documents that I really didn't want to lose, and they were lost.
So
I didn't have the chance to audition like everyone else did.
Yeah.
But they asked me if I wanted to do a PR with them, and they had like a whole Jurassic World Live tour, kind of like open house kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it was in New York City, and it was kind of just like introducing what the show was going to entail. They had some of the props. They showed how the audition process was. It was just mainly just like a whole like little like mini convention of like how the show is going to be.
I see.
The directors were there.
Yeah.
A lot of people were there from Feld.
Okay.
And it was kind of cool. They had me jump in the puppet because they knew I had already had prior experience to that.
Okay.
After filming the teasers, they were just like, yeah, we would see what you can do and stuff. So I did that, and then it was just after that I had expressed that I really wanted to be a part of the show, and that really counted as like my audition, just to be in the puppet. And they just told me, all right, well, we'll give you send out an email and a call a couple weeks or 3 weeks, and we'll let you know if you're involved or not.
Okay.
So I waited, and then that was it. And then I got on. Seeing it from like other people's experiences with the audition process, it seemed to be pretty fun to a lot of people.
Yeah.
And it was actually very, I don't want to say very, I should say it was a little physical. But if you look up on like, I think Jurassic World Live Tour and also Feld has like a few videos of their auditions
right,
on
yeah.
their website.
Yeah, they got to see that, yeah.
Yeah, so it was kind of like that. I kind of got to experience a little bit of that training during the build. Mm-hmm. So I was kind of just like, so this is what that audition really felt like. So, yeah.
I see. So Nick, you're saying that like, your audition process was a bit different than the regular people who audition for this show, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I see. So Nico, can you tell us, your experience when you first got to rehearse the show? What was your experience like, when you first got to work out with Blue for the first time, when you got to rehearse for the show?
So for the first week, I remember I was really sore for one,
Oh, really?
and getting into like the facility itself was
Yeah.
kind of really mind blowing
Oh, really?
and very. I don't want to say adrenaline rushed, but like you felt the excitement of like getting the chance to be part of like this brand show,
Yeah.
and it was kind of surreal. And the one thing I remember seeing was like how everyone was coming out of like our coming into the facility, and like we were all just like stretching, lining up, talking to each other, just getting to know one another. And then when it came to like, because they did it like in like sort of like certain like stunt stuff that they were training for, and then people would go off to their own like designated areas.
Yeah.
And I went to where all the downer tiers were.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing Blue, and I was kind of just like, "Oh, good to see you again, Blue." And it was kind of great because I've never felt so wanting to be with an inanimate object
Okay.
ever.
Yeah.
And seeing Blue, I was just really like wow, like I'm back at it again with her.
Okay.
It was really great, and there was just a lot of excitement to be like in that whole rehearsal build of the show, and everyone was just ready to give it their all and really try to like train and like be all that they could be for this crazy show.
I see. Yeah. So, Nico, like, since you operate, Blue and various other dinosaurs in the show, was this your first time, doing puppetry as a stuntman, or like have you done puppetry before, before doing this job?
Um, Before Jurassic World Live Tour, I had done the Jurassic World the exhibition,
Okay.
and that was my first time doing puppeteering work.
You mean like
Um,
the, you mean the exhibition thing?
yeah,
Okay, I see.
I was sorry. I should reiterate on that. I was blued for that exhibition as well.
Oh, really? Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So the puppets were a lot different from each other,
Yeah, I could.
but that was my first experience with puppeteering,
I see.
and yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Um. So, Nico, can you tell us? Since we audience, we don't know a lot about. Even though we don't know a lot about the behind the scenes technology, but then since you've been operating Blue for months right now, can you tell us how do you operate Blue?
Yeah. She kind of has like this. Even like the pack raptors as well.
Yeah.
They have like square, rectangular handlebar.
Yeah, yeah.
And you move it one way, and it articulates the neck movement.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a swivel kind of movement you can do. And
Okay.
once you turn like left or right, where you
Yeah.
have like the balls of that on the hands,
Mm-hmm.
you can articulate the head so it's like it moves left, it moves right or left.
Yeah.
And you can move it up or down. And there's a lot of shoulder and like upper and like back and forearms that are like really required to like work these puppets. And she had all the dinosaurs have well, the raptors I should say, they have handbrakes
Okay.
on on both sides, and that'll articulate the arms.
Okay.
Blue has that function as well.
Okay, I see.
And there's a like little like servo like switch thing,
Mm-hmm.
and that articulates her jaw movements,
Okay.
even with the back raptors as well.
I see.
And the slower you pull it down, or like the quicker you put it down, it's kind of just like it opens very slow, or even opens like really wide and really like aggressively. So you create like that raptor feel and the raptor look.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how it all works. There are a lot of PRs that we did, and kind of like news hits, and they had like the little rigs where they can show like how they articulate. You can find a lot of like news spots through Feld and Jurassic World Tour like page that show that.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so that kind of like displays a little bit of how they work and a better like hands-on feel for how you can operate it.
I see.
Because they had there was a PR for that in Chicago when it was in Rosemont, and I had gotten the opportunity to bring my parents there.
Oh yeah.
And I got to feel out how the raptors move, and it was really cool to see. And like seeing like everyone else like go there, it was pretty interesting.
I see. I mean, so Nico, since you said that you don't only operate Blue, but you do also operate Genie and the bigger dinosaurs too. Like the ways of those other dinosaurs operate, is it a bit different than from Blue too, or or like how is
Uh,
it?
Genie, yes, I faintly remember how her setup was, but I know it was kind of like a joystick that she had,
Yeah.
like rather than like a handlebar kind of thing.
Okay.
But her swivel, or yeah, her swivel remote
Yeah.
option, it instead of like articulating the mouth, that would actually articulate the head up and down.
Okay. I see.
And it would even be her handbrakes would be more so for her mouth.
Okay.
So if you pull it all the way like a bike brake,
Mm-hmm.
then you would open the mouth all the way, or like slowly, it would just slowly open it up.
Okay. I see.
Genies were definitely predominantly lighter than the pack raptors,
Okay.
but it was more so like the bigger they were, the heavier they were, kind of thing. But personally, I favor Blue just because of how much I guess I've been working with her for so long.
Yeah.
But getting to be working with Genie a little bit more, it was really cool and interesting to like work with something other than just a raptor.
Okay. I see.
But it's kind of still like kind of goes hand in hand with raptors and like how you would puppet them. But yeah, it's the mechanics and stuff are different, but they definitely do go hand in hand.
Okay, I see. I mean, so Nick, I was wondering about the sounds that the small dinosaurs make. Does that sound as it comes from the dinosaur, or is it like a separate, or is it like a separate operator who makes the sound, from besides you?
So we go off the audio that goes in the show.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of just like more lip syncing.
Oh, okay, I see.
I know Blue. She has sounds that can be activated, but we go off the show feed that's in the arena.
Okay, I see.
But it's kind of like super loud, so it really almost doesn't seem like it's coming from like the arena, but like it comes from like the raptor itself. So it's really cool to be in there and hearing people's reactions, and they're just like, "Oh wow!"
Yeah.
So yeah.
I see. I mean, so since you said that you also control like the big dinosaurs, how do those operate?
So we have a lot of like remote control remotes,
Yeah.
and they each have like certain like joysticks that you can move up and down, left or right, or
Yeah.
like on a like swivel motion, and you're just able to like articulate the heads and up and down, left or right.
Yeah.
You can even have them twist their heads. Some will have like the eye blinks, the mouth openings. It really just depends on which one you're working with. I know the T-Rex is a lot different from the others, but I haven't really explored that yet.
Yeah.
Hopefully I could. But yeah, it's the Indominus, Triceratops, and Stegosaurus kind of have like all the same remote ops, but they genuinely are a little bit different from how you can do it.
I see. All right. I mean, so Nico, since you've been like puppeting with Blue for quite a long time, can you tell us how the environment is like inside Blue? When you get when you get inside Blue and like when you walk around the arena, like and how how do you feel? Like is it hot or sweaty or like how do you feel?
With how I can't speak for the other dino tiers either,
Yeah.
but I try to make her as swift as I can make her look.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Just because like I've been like the huge fan of the movies, I just want to make sure like these raptors are looking super fast on stage and making sure that they can run as quick as they can. Being in, I want to say like the Adventure Zone scene, being in that in Blue is very probably the longest I could have been in a puppet for.
Yeah.
And running around like that stage and like articulating really is physically taxing.
Mm-hmm.
But also you kind of have to remember that it's not, you're not in there for a long time. You're in there for a very short time. And I try to keep it to where my headset's basically just like, you're going to be out. You just have to do this scene really quick and you'll be okay.
Mm-hmm.
It does get hot in there a lot because a lot of everything is kind of concealed inside.
Yeah.
Like your openings are closed off just like a tad bit.
For real?
There are ports in the suits that allow like air circulation, but from breathing and working with like your hands and your body to like articulate,
yeah,
it does give you a like a whole, like the space inside's closing in. It's not super tight inside, like you still have range of motion to like move around and like move your elbows a little bit, but your elbows are against like the wall of the suit. But it can give you a sense of like sensory deprivation almost. There was one time where I got incredibly hot and felt like I was having, it was like so stuffy inside. But as a performer and an athlete, I have sports-induced asthma.
Okay.
So I kind of have to regulate my body and my mind to be like, breathe and do all these like little simple things just to make sure like I'm okay. But that's the only way you can. I've really gone through it, but I'm not. I can't speak for like other dyno tiers either. But
Yeah.
they give it just as much of 100% as they can.
Okay.
So it's kind of like we're all on the same page of how this show should look and feel. So
Okay. I see. All right. I mean, so Niko, before you did, Jurassic World Live, was this your first time doing? Was this like your first time performing in a live arena show, for you?
yes, I've actually. When I was in high school and in college, I actually always wanted to pursue acting.
Yeah.
Or any kind of performing thing. I just never went out of my way to look for it or do something in it.
Okay.
Which is surprising because like you're in this arena show.
Right.
But I went to Northern Illinois University in DeKalb, Illinois, and I majored in photography. Graduated with a bachelor's of fine arts in studio photography with a concentration. And I took one acting class there, and it was like an intro class, so it wasn't like a whole like getting into the major or something that people like pride themselves on. But it helped me realize like the different basic stuff that I could learn about acting.
Okay.
Although I don't want to say like I'm a huge actor now or
Yeah.
a whole lot. I still have to work on that. I still feel like I'm still growing and evolving.
Yeah.
And that was really the only acting I've had. Originally, I wanted to go to college to be like going to like set design and whatnot. I just never looked into it as much as I had.
Mm-hmm.
But thinking career-wise, I really wanted to be an art teacher for secondary education.
Yeah.
And I ended up finding my passion for photography, so I just stuck with that. And I remember seeing an audition for Jurassic World the exhibition, so I auditioned for that. But yeah, this has really been like a journey for performing and acting because it was something I never thought I would be able to do and ever get. But I kind of had that mentality where it's just like, if you don't give it your best shot, then you're not really giving a shot for anything.
Yeah.
So that's the mindset I've been having while being on tour or just in life in general. You just want to keep doing it, and if you're afraid, then it gives you like more of a motivation to like just try.
Yeah. Because
it's like you don't really have a lot to lose, kind of like thing. But yeah, I never thought myself to be an actor or anything like that, but it's been fun, and a lot of the actors and some performers on the show have been like teaching me like little things and kind of like learning off each other, and I've learned a lot more for performing, being on tour and like talking to like other people's like experiences and stuff. So it's kind of like in my mind, I'm growing a little bit to like realize like what I need to do in order to be a better performer.
Yeah.
Outside of Jurassic World, that is.
Okay.
But yeah, that's
I see.
how I've always seen my life going. Is just I actually always wanted to be a screenwriter and director as well.
Oh, really?
I've been writing my own like screenplays on the side, and I've been trying to write in like different genres, as well as like even like fan fiction stuff. Just because like who doesn't love comic books? Who doesn't love movies? So it's kind of just like in my free time, I'll just write whatever I can and just free write, and then whatever happens, and I'll just keep them on hand. And if I can get myself out there, then it'd be a perfect way to like put my foot in the door for film.
Okay, I see.
So, yeah.
I mean, because for me, as I said earlier, I mean, when we like, first met, I told you that I was a film major in Chicago, and then maybe I was wondering if you need if you need a job for acting, maybe I can hire you for one of my films in the future when I go back to Chicago, something like that,
Yeah.
Okay, so, what were some other stunt jobs that you did? I mean, yes. What was the other stunt jobs that you did before you did Jurassic World Live?
0 actually.
Oh, zero? Well,
Yeah. So I have it to where it's like a stunt man or a stunt performer, but it's more of like a fight performer.
yeah.
Because there's a lot more fight choreography in the show than there is stunts.
Right.
But when you're in the show like this, you kind of have to learn all the tracks and like everyone's role. So it's kind of just like eventually I will learn all those roles and consider myself a stunt performer. So yeah, it's more so like I haven't really done any stunts other than just like studying it, like when I was taking that basic acting class. But it was more so just like looking at different things I can try to master.
Yeah.
But a lot of people in the show have done like sport or stunt shows, like at Universal or even elsewhere, or like in film and whatnot. So for me, it's just like I'm just an up and coming stunt performer.
Yeah.
Because I'm still learning everything the show has to offer and whatnot.
I see. So, Nico, I mean, can you tell us, how does your daily life work, as a performer in the show? Like, how does your life work for a daily life when you're performing in the city? Like, I mean, like, how does it work?
So we will have like the shows from we'll have like an opening show either on a Thursday or a Friday.
Yeah.
We'll have 3 shows on Saturday, as well as maybe 2 or 3 shows on Sunday. And every Sunday is like our loadout show. So we'll be performing our last show, but like boxing everything up, like our costumes, throwing our laundry where they need to be, show laundry that is. And then we just load everything out and then get on the bus, go to the hotel. We'll have like a pit stop and we'll just drive to the next city. If there's like certain degrees on what we do for bus travel. We've also had where Mondays are like our other travel day if you have to fly to a different city. And then we usually have like Monday through Wednesday or Thursday off. Sometimes there's not even a show on Thursday, and we'll just have like an opening show on Friday. So we'll have it to be like we'll have 4 days off, and then we do like all these shows on the weekend. So yeah, it's kind of just like we go to these different cities, we kind of just travel or venture around, or some of us just relax and sit in the hotel, play video games, write, work out, sleep. Some actually go back home just to see their family if they're from that area.
Yeah.
Like for me, when I was in Chicago, I spent more time at home than at the hotel. And the next city was Milwaukee, so I actually just stood home for like another couple days and had my parents drive me out back to Milwaukee. And went back on tour, and it was kind of just like that.
I see.
You do have to like venture around and like look for like food and stuff that you
Right,
would
right.
want to eat.
Yeah.
But that's really it. Like you can find like a lot of good restaurants around, or the occasional like grocery stores like Publix, or just like like little grocery stores that you can find.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's really just normally how it goes.
I see. I mean, so Nico, so since you've been a part of the show for more than about 5 months right now, right?
Yeah.
So I was wondering, how does this contract work? Like, are you like, do you guys have like a certain contract that you're working with, and then you are like leaving the show? Like, how does it work?
We're all contracted, but it kind of just goes like by season.
Oh, by season.
Yeah.
So like the company like it gives like a certain amount of like year that you'll be working with, and then you'll be like done with the show. Like it's like that.
Yeah, so like for this first season, it was from the show build up until I think April 17th. I think was like our supposed last show.
Yeah.
I want to say,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, so the contract just goes from there.
Okay, I see. Yeah. So Nico, besides puppeteering Blue, has there been any other job that you wanted to do?
Yeah, I actually always did want to like audition for Marvel Universe Live,
Yeah.
but considering that's a super stunt and fight show,
Right.
I never had experience doing that,
Okay.
and seeing how a lot of those performers do like all their stunts and like choreography, it's a lot, and I don't think I had that kind of like experience to like master or even try. But I've always wanted to like learn it. It's more so like I just really want to branch out as much as I can. I still want to be with Jurassic World Live Tour and the company as long as I can be with them, as long as they'll have me. I guess if I could, I would still try to remain with Feld and learn costuming or prop and set making.
Yeah.
Since originally that's what I've always wanted to do. So I think I'd try to see if they would have me be on board with that once that opportunity came.
Okay.
So yeah.
I mean, so Nico, since I'm posting this onto my YouTube channel for our viewers, what would you recommend for younger people who want to be like either puppeteer or like stuntman like you? What would you recommend them to do in order to be like a stuntman? Like what I'm saying would be like a professional stuntman.
I would say just be really smart about what you want to do, because I've seen like videos like online where they will say stuntmen, but they do like these things where it's kind of like really dangerous.
Right. Yeah.
I would say there are classes you can take, like look up like studio classes or like any acting class you can find. I'm sure you can find something. Even going to school to like learn stage combat, that helps out a lot. You kind of just gain experience going through job to job.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say, and I guess I just want to say, just have a good head on your shoulders when it comes to being a stuntman.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I was in the build, I learned so much about like how these movies stunts work compared to like show stunts like this.
Yeah.
They're very different, but they're also very similar. But I just want to say, like, just be super smart about how you're doing your stunts, but make sure it's more professional than going out of your way and just than hurting yourself, because you don't want to hurt yourself and cause like a career-ending injury kind of thing.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, I would just say look for classes. anything really that is acting or stage combat wise. That really like gets you into the motion of it. Performing in general, I just want to say like, don't be afraid to audition. Don't be afraid to go after something.
Yeah.
When I took the Jurassic World the exhibition audition, I felt like I wasn't going to be good enough, solely because like my height, and they told me that my height range was perfect for their dinosaurs.
Yeah.
But just always go with an attitude that no matter what the outcome is, you want to give your 100%. Because you will never know if another opportunity like that will happen. So always just keep in mind that if you get turned down from an audition, there's going to be another one coming. If you get it, if you make it through, you're still going to be in, and you're going to get something that you wanted.
Okay.
Doing this, auditioning for this show was a huge eye-opener for me because I felt like I actually felt wanted for something and felt that I did something that I've been working for so long. And a lot of people on the show have had that kind of experience too with dino tiering and stuff. So it's kind of just like you gave it your all and you've made an impact on yourself and also like countless others. So just be true to yourself and always reach for like what your goal is, and don't ever feel like you're not enough, because you will always be enough, and
Right.
you're gonna get there no matter what.
Okay. Yeah. So Nico, I have one like question for you. This doesn't really like kind of relate to Jurassic World Live tour, but then, I mean, since I know that you're also like a big Power Ranger fan, as watching Power Rangers, have you ever thought of auditioning for the show too?
Funny enough, me and one of my castmates on the show, he had actually auditioned for one of the Power Ranger shows.
Oh really? Wow.
I think it was Beast Morphers.
Oh really? No way.
Yeah, but I think I forgot what he said the audition was.
Yeah.
But I think he was reading for one of the characters,
Yeah.
and he obviously lost to somebody else, and then
Okay.
so on and so forth. I forgot. I don't know how those auditions go, but
Okay.
we talked about it,
Yeah.
and we both been talking. And since there's a new Power Ranger show like in the works for the U.S.,
Yeah. Right.
we were both saying that we should like look for the auditions for that just in case.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I never would have minded doing it.
Yeah.
I've always been a Power Rangers fan growing up.
Mm-hmm.
It's just more so like I think they look for certain things that these actors should have, like whether it's like kickboxing or some type of like martial art that
Right.
they should learn, or even some kind of stage combat. So I always had like that mindset. I was like, I don't have any of that, so I don't think I would be a fit other than just reading for a character.
Okay.
But I wouldn't mind being like a villain or like a puppeteer for a show like that,
Yeah.
because seeing how like the suits, like the Zords are like basically
Right.
giant puppets.
Right.
Like I actually would not mind being one of those, or even like a villain. But yeah, I would not be opposed to being like a Power Ranger or even a villain or like a henchman
Okay.
for a Power Ranger.
Well, yeah. Yeah. Speaking of Beast Morphers, you should check out the Dino crossover that's coming out soon. There hasn't been any announcement yet when the episode will be announced, but then it will be featuring the original Red Ranger Austin Jane Senior. He's returning back to the show after
Oh, no way.
after 17 years. So you should check that out. It's coming out soon. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out. I haven't really watched Beast Morphers.
Oh, really?
I've been like kind of in and out of like the Power Ranger series for a while, like just
Okay.
some things that I've missed.
Yeah.
Growing up, I only went up to, I think I only watched up to Power Rangers in Space.
Okay. I see.
But I did watch Dino Charge.
Yeah.
I thought that was a good show.
Yeah. That was a good season too.
I didn't. Yeah, I haven't been caught up with like their Beast Morphers seasons, but
Okay.
I plan on doing it while we're on this COVID quarantine.
Okay, I see. Yeah. Well, okay, Nika, I just want to thank you so much for giving your time. I know that you are like kind of in a difficult situation right now due to just COVID-19, but I really wish you the best of luck in the future. And thank you so much for giving up your time. Thank you so much, Nico.
Oh, thank you for having me.
No
It's been a
problem,
pleasure
man.
talking.
Yeah. I'll post this on my YouTube channel and then I'll give you credits for this.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you so
All
much.
right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Nico.
Take it easy.